Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's AI and Automation campaign. I'm Alistair Greener. Anyone who's worked in a modern office environment will be familiar with the image of sticky notes fixed to the edges of state-of-the-art computer screens as employees battle to keep up with the multitude of tasks and customer demands placed on them day after day. Today, we're talking to Oded Karev, General Manager of NICE Robotic Automation, to discuss how intelligent robotic automation technology can help employees efficiently navigate complex live customer interactions as well as tedious back-office work, where they have to juggle half a dozen tasks and access many different applications against the clock, all while keeping the customer engaged and happy. Good morning.
Morning, Alistair.
So despite the concerns about robots taking over our lives, we seem to be in a situation where we're still steering towards using robotic automation technology. Why is that?
Automation anxiety is out there, but the truth is that robots are here to make everyone's life better off. And when I say everyone, I mean the employees, the customers, and the organizations. And the reason is that the robotics technology is built and designed to take away the mundane, repetitive work that is non-value add, that there's no point for people are doing, people get bored of doing. So it frees them to give better service. It frees them to meet their KPIs and do things faster, and by that also brings customer satisfaction, who don't want to wait or for a long processes time, and efficiencies to the organization.
When we look at desktop robots, they're considered to have a greater functionality than unattended robots. Tell us a little bit more about those two and the relationship between them.
So the desktop robots and the unattended or server robots complement one another, right? The unattended robots are way simpler. This is why today they're almost commoditized and the competitive landscape is filled with the companies who say they can do it. But the reason they're more simple because they work in a very sterile environment, right? They're very stable. You send the task to the server and it's being automated. The problem with that is that the potential is limited. There's only so much you can send that would be completely without a human intervention. Then you come to the desktop robots who are definitely much more complicated, but also bring a lot more value because this is truly man working with machine. It's on the desktop and taking decisions in real time what to automate and when to bring value. And as I said, the relationship between them is that they complement one another. And therefore, a true digital transformation, an organization who want to truly utilize the full potential of RPA would need both.
So what is it about desktop robots, or in your case, Neva, that makes them the poster child of human collaboration and automation?
Neva stands for NICE Employee Virtual Attendant. And there's a lot of nuances in this world, right? It's employee virtual attendant. It's not focused on the consumer. This is a desktop robot focused on enhancing and boosting the employee performance. So it stands on the employee desktop in real time and helping him. The fact that we personalized the desktop robots, added the chat capability, the voice chat capability, reduces the automation anxiety and allows the employee to embrace Neva because it's not a robot taking over the activities, is the robot asking, or Neva in this case asking, can I help you with something? Would you like me to automate that? Would you like me to find this data for you? And this is truly man working with machine because Neva is there to complement, enhance, take away the repetitive, boring task and leave the employee with the more value-add work.
I mean, that's the theory behind it all, but perhaps you could give us some more practical examples of the real-time synergy between the desktop robot and an employee, of how that would actually work.
Why don't I give you an example from a very big telco here in the UK. It's a wireless operator, one of the largest, and we've been helping them with thousands of desktop robots. And one of the processes we help them automate is inventory check as part of a sales process. Now, think that you are a sales representative and you get a call from a customer saying, I want a new plan and I want an upgrade to upgrade my device attached to the plan. Now, all you want to do is you want to finish it as fast as you can because you're measured on time, and you want to complete the sale because you get compensation on every new device that you sell, right? In the process, the organization would like you to check the inventory to make sure that you don't sell a device that is not in stock What happens if you sell a device that is not in stock? Eventually, someone in the back office needs to ship the device to you. You get a call saying the device is not there, and you get frustrated. You may cancel. So everyone are not. It's more expensive. Everyone are not better off. But the employees tend to skip the inventory check, even though it just takes them 10 seconds, open the ERP, check the inventory. What we did is we put in a trigger. Once the employee is building the sales plan in the CRM, the robot in the background would go, open the ERP, run the inventory check, and bring back a feedback saying, beware, this is the inventory level of this device. So the agent would know whether to sell or not to sell it. Now, again, saving here is just 9 to 10 seconds per sale, but they do upgrade 10,000 devices a day, 9 to 10,000, so big saving. But more than that, the amount of unfulfilled sales have dropped to nearly zero. Customers are way happier because there's no scenario where customers getting a call, sorry, we promised you a device we don't have. So this is a great example of a very large enterprise, a big telco, using robotics in real time on the desktop to enhance the performance of everyone.
But what about return on investment? How does that look on this?
The return on investment comes from various value levers. Naturally, the first one, once you reduce the handling time of the process, right? It can be an end-to-end process sent to an unattended server, but more importantly, it can be just taking key steps or chunks out of a specific process. Now, you say just few steps may not be a big saving, but if you think of large organizations with a huge landscape of people working, or a big operation, thousands of people, a process that is being done tens of thousands of times a day, if you took even 10 seconds from a process that happens 10,000 times a day, that accumulates to quite a saving. And as we said before, we see bump in NPS, CSAT, customer experience. We see bump in employee engagement. We see a huge impact on compliance because the robots are making sure and reminding the employees not to skip key steps. So a lot of different value levers construct the ROI of the attended automation solutions.
Okay, you touched on it there a little bit in terms of compliance and so on. Paint us a picture of the complexities of the desktop environment.
Just imagine an employee is working, he have his own way to do the process. He would open few applications at the time, so few windows are open. Immediately the robot needs to understand which application is in focus. In some cases, he would open 2 pages of the CRM or 2 pages of the ERP because he's working on 2 different suppliers or vendors or 2 different customers, or he haven't finished the old process and now we have something urgent to do. So the multi-instance issue of it, of knowing which application is in focus, then you need to understand what the human is doing. And then there is need to be a decisioning whether or not the robot can interfere, quote unquote, meaning offer his help or automate, or just wait idle and wait for his trigger. So it needs to be decisioning. It needs to be in real time, right? It's not something you send to a server and you wait for it to happen. It needs to happen in real time while the employee is interacting. You need to make sure it doesn't impact the performance of the system, because if everything is slowed down because the robot is consuming all the computing power of the workstation, then the employee would get frustrated that his systems are so slow. So a lot of underlying technology bring that to life.
I mean, it's amazing, this technology, what it can do. Perhaps you could give us an idea of what's behind the technology. What's the underlying technology here?
The first and foremost important is the ability to connect to other applications, right? We need the robot to read or be able to understand and manipulate other applications the same way a human would do, right? This is not system integration, it's not writing code, it's a robotic client. This software is unique because it needs to understand other technologies. Then you need to add to that what I mentioned before, the real-time monitoring on the screen, understanding what's going on, a real-time decisioning engine, the ability to manipulate, right, to do the copy and paste, mouse clicks, data entry, everything that an employee is doing. You need to be able to do it in a very scalable way, right? So a central place to write these automation scripts, to manage them, to get an alert if something goes wrong, if the robot goes down. So there are a lot of different pieces, starting from the connectivity layer, all the way down to the application server where you build the automations.
Let's say I'm an organization and I like the sound of robotic process automation, or RPA, and I want to get started. Where's a good point to start?
What organizations need to understand that, yes, automation is a journey and you start small and you scale up. But selecting the first process right, the correct process, is key. If you'll do it right, it will be successful, you see value, you win the hearts and minds of everyone, you reduce the automation anxiety, and your entire automation journey starts in the right foot and you'll get great results. If it's a complete failure, it will be harder to scale. For that, we have came with what we call the Automation Finder. What we did is we took Niva, our desktop robots, and we gave her the capability, and when I say her, naturally it's the personification of the robot, the ability to monitor and aggregate the data of what employees are doing, every keystroke, every data entry. That is being sent to a big database where we run machine learning, what is called today unsupervised learning, to identify the routines, the patterns. And now we have an automated tool that would highlight and show the quick wins, right? What is the highest volume of routines that you have in your operation landscape that are prime for automation? And you start with that, and then you can scale into a more enterprise-wide automation program.
For many people watching, this will sound incredible. They probably won't even realize that this level of automation existed. But this is here and now, and it's real. So what about the future? Where are we headed with this? Where do you see your RPA, Niva? Where do you see that going? Where do you see it in, say, 5-10 years' time?
So robotics started with the unattended, very simple, very basic server-side automation. This is almost commoditized today. What we have today as latest and greatest is definitely the attended automation, the desktop automation, the man working with machine. And the artificial intelligence side of it, allowing the robot to become smarter and take more and more tasks that today are done by humans, freeing the humans to do more value add, cerebral work, creative stuff, and so on. That is the future. So embedding the great landscape of artificial intelligence technology that are available to us into the robotic process automation world.
We've talked a lot about the advantages of desktop robots and how they work and the scenarios where they can work. For our viewers watching today, could you maybe give them 3 key points that they could take away and remember from this interview?
Absolutely. So the first one is, as we said, robots are here to make everyone's life better off. We shouldn't be afraid of the robots. They will only boost and enhance everyone's experiences. The second one is that robots are not here just for efficiency. There are so many other business value levers, like the employee engagement and employee satisfaction, like customer satisfaction, CSAT, NPS, like compliance adherence and other stuff we mentioned. And the third one is the next wave of automation around desktop robots. The desktop robots are the evolution of the unattended robots. They're a bit more complicated, but they bring so much more ROI. There's no organization doing a true digital transformation, and there's no truly utilizing the full potential of RPA without the desktop automation.
Well, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of RPAs in the future, and it's really interesting to find out the benefits and what of an impact they're going to make to all of our lives. It's been great finding out more. Oded Karev from NICE, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.